Here they are, Optic Esports and Mousesports, ready to get it off and going here within at least the confines of the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters in Malmö, because tomorrow's quarterfinal day, and neither one of these teams have qualified yet. But don't worry, Group B will continue to roll along, and we will be sending one of these teams a little bit further into the bracket. Will it be the Mousesports? Will it be Optic Gaming? We don't know for sure. But we're going to keep a close eye on it for you and let you know as this entire thing updates and progresses. We can see them all sitting there, getting ready to go. Kerrigan himself, a poised leader, ready to take this Mousesports to new heights. And of course, myself here on the desk being the captain, and my two lieutenants would have to be Chad Burchill and Jacob Vinicki.
Surely I get some bloody tenure over this guy.
You get like a first lieutenant.
Okay.
And then you're a second.
Okay.
Cool. Why?
I'm older, man. That's how it works.
Oh, but I'm prettier.
Also,
they say age before beauty, so...
Maybe we just refer to Twitch chat, whichever one you think is more pretty. 1 for Chad, 2 for Jacob, and 3 for Trace. So let's take a look at the bracket that is Group B.
Sure. We talked a lot about it already now. This lower bracket is stacked. Mousesports beat EG yesterday. That's why they find themselves up against Optic, whereas for Liquid, they will take on Greyhound later. Let's be honest, Liquid is probably going to win that one. So the winner of Mousesports and Optic is going to face Liquid in a match to qualify for the playoff.
And look, the problem is right now for Liquid, they're on shaky ground. So if Mouse get through, there is a huge opportunity they could beat Liquid. This one here has a lot of consequences.
Let's talk about maps, guys. This is a best of 3. This isn't a best of 1. This isn't a best of 5. We're talking about best of 3, the integral part of Counter-Strike. So right here is your chance to prove yourself.
Veto could go similar to how it went yesterday with the Optic game, right? Like, I think there's some chances for us to see similar scenes like we saw against Na'Vi. They're not going to have too many issues peeking into Nuke again, right? They lost in a very close affair.
Yeah.
And Mousesports, it's not that they're a horrible Nuke team. Maybe they'll just ban it.
I'm thinking Vertigo here. I think that both teams have a...
what was I?
We haven't even seen Vertigo this tournament.
No, and I think both teams have a stake within Vertigo, right? We know Mousesports prepared well for it, and we know MSL, he was willing to pick it against Astralis. So I'd be surprised if Optic, given the fact that they are the underdogs, you know, just pick Vertigo, go into it, and hope, you know, that preparation you did for New York and the preparation you did for Astralis is going to be enough to take down Mousesports.
Yeah, well, here's our first set of bans. We're going to take a look at those and really kind of decipher where we're going for the first map pick. We've got Overpass out, we've got Inferno out.
It's curious that Mousesports have now gone back to banning Overpass, right? Because they've tried to bring it into their map pool to play. We've seen them play it a little bit online. They've had mixed success. But Inferno going out for Optic, yeah, that's one that they don't necessarily like. So look, this Vertigo pick could come in from either team, but if they both feel comfortable on it, that's where we normally see it as a third map.
True. But you have a big underdog here from Optic, right? I feel that would be the pick where you could try to punish Mousesports, and they're not willing to do it, right? It's going to be Nuke, and it makes sense. Nah, does it?
No, yeah, but I think it does, right? Because Config himself, who's the only player, I think, on this Optic roster who could single-handedly win them a game, says that he doesn't necessarily like Vertigo. Okay. If it comes to the third and they've warmed into it and they've had some back-and-forth affairs on Mirage and Nuke, then maybe he's warmed up and he can get into it. But what we saw at a Mousesports, have they bothered adding depth on their Vertigo since the Major? That's one question we need to get answered, right? So if we do see that crop through here, that'll be a curious one, but we're left with, we've got some Dust 2 in the pool, obviously.
Train and Vertigo, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it's not Vertigo being a third map here, but that doesn't really change the fact that Optic picked into Nuke. Now, the third map is going to be Dust 2.
Okay.
Well, interesting. They started to play that. MSL previously didn't like that. When I played with him, he hated Dust 2, but they found some decent success on the map, so I guess Optic are okay with it, whereas for Mousesports, we know they're a great Dust 2 team. I'm still curious to why Optic decided to go for Nuke. We saw them play yesterday against Na'Vi, and I was not impressed with it. No, not at all. I mean, Na'Vi played well yesterday. Na'Vi, you said it yourself, they didn't really do anything on their T side. They let Optic come to them. Optic made mistake after mistake after mistake against a team like Na'Vi with limited practice on a map like Nuke, which also were the pick yesterday. I was a little bit disappointed in Optic, and going into Nuke today, I don't really have high hopes for them.
So Optic Gaming, that's where we're going to start our conversation.
Okay.
Because I feel like, I know we've been talking about it for a little bit, but obviously with Optic Gaming, there's a lot going on, or not going on, rather.
Yeah, look, organizationally, this is a dead brand for those of you playing at home. They'll obviously be looking for a new home as they move forward. But in terms of the team right here, this is the team, you know, they're like 3rd, 4th, 5th best in Denmark right now.
Denmark.
It's up in the air, right? Sure. But the tenure of these players, you know, you're looking at MSL, well, you know that he's an in-game leader who's been doing it for several years, loves the DreamHack Masters events. Cajun B, we know that name. Config, we know the skill that he could potentially have. Nico getting touted as someone who can, you know, be a good gap filler of a player. You know, you put him in and he can do what he needs to do. And Tassus, well, he's an individual who, I guess you referred to him yesterday, Jacob, as a clutch player.
Yeah, I think he's been doing pretty well in the clutches. The problem for him is he doesn't have enough productivity in the game in general, dare I say, right? I thought he would be a little bit better performing on this Optic lineup, and I in general thought that Optic as a squad would be better performing. What we've seen lately hasn't really been that impressive. They've been at a few tournaments. They've done some decent jobs. You know, they made a few games competitive. They made it close against Astralis and Vertigo in New York as well. But apart from that, it's not a team that is winning the games. They make the best of threes competitive. They give you a sense that, hey, we can play Counter-Strike at a relatively high level, but getting down to the nitty-gritty and winning the series, we haven't seen that.
So, Jacob, just running through Danish Counter-Strike with me, when I look at this team, it's stacked with people that have been playing for a long time. Where do you think Testis falls into that and sort of like an underboss role? Like, he's not the leader of this team, obviously, but does he have the right hands guiding him?
I think he seems to me, I have never played with the guy, so I don't know him personally, but from the outside, it seems to me that he is accepting the role he's gotten within the team.
Yeah.
He's filling out the role, and he does as good as he can, right? It's not him to win the game for them. It has to be Config, it has to be KGB.
I want to go even one step further. I don't think they win via their individuals, this Optic team, right? Like, I agree with you in the sense that Config could actually just take over an entire game and win them if he can start feeling some momentum. But MSL historically has been an in-game leader who wins via a system, right? And yesterday on Nuke, I know you said you weren't too impressed, but they were constantly getting down bench. You know, they were making it difficult down secret. They have the moves, they have the T-sided strats. There's no doubt about that. We know that Optic have the game plan. The problem is they have to hit the shots, and that seems to be a little bit of a problem for them.
Yeah, you don't want to get them frozen in place, which is what could happen right here, right now, against a team called Mousesports. On the other side of the server, the Thunderdome with an IP address, as OJ Borg once called it, a friend of mine in New York. Haven't seen him in a while. Shout out to him if he is watching. But Chris J, Woxic, Kerrigan, Rops, and I did mention Frozen, but that's also because he's playing for this team.
Something I want to point out with this team here is that they have been together now for 203 days. They've come together, it feels like it was just yesterday, realistically, since the chopping and changing happened, but no, it's been a decent period of time. Now, the shelf life of this team, you have all of the puzzle pieces here. You've got your young stars, you've got your Rops and your Frozen right here towards the end of the desk. Yet another clutch player. We've obviously got Kerrigan in the middle as the in-game leader. Chris J as his lieutenant, I think you put it, Trace.
Okay.
And then obviously Woxic as a star AWPer. All the puzzle pieces are here. They've consistently been making playoff appearances in a lot of the big tournaments that they've been going to, but consistency is not enough. They need to start performing and showing that when they go into games like NIP on day one or like Optic right now, that they win those games. You're not going to be a top 10 team in the world if you're losing to teams that you shouldn't be at tournaments like this. You can't be hamstringing yourself in the opening game. So this one right here, Rops is going to be integral. He was integral yesterday in their victory, and they need to show up because I want, like you said, for Na'Vi when they play NIP in the upper bracket, for it to be convincing if we really want to start getting on board and showing a lot of faith in Mousesports as an international roster going into 2020.
Yeah, which is what they were poised to be, what they were almost promised to us as, because, well, that's what we expect to see from them.
It's good for me, though, because I made a little friendly wager with Jacob that an international team will never be, what was it, top 3 within the next 5? We have to look at the rules.
Top 5, chat?
For sure it's top 5.
We have to check the rules. We'll check the rules. I forget it. We'll have to, look, if Prof, you're watching, go back and watch the VOD and come up with some rules here because there's a lot on the line. Now, the reason I say that, look, I think Mousesports can definitely be a dangerous team. Okay. The problem, I think, is just communication with coming from all these different languages into English, little bit of input lag.
Okay, well, the input from these next two gentlemen we're going to talk about in the head-to-head doesn't really lag or can't afford to lag. We're talking about Kerrigan, we're talking about MSL, and we're talking about a head-to-head between the two IGLs of this team.
We are talking about the two IGLs from each team, right? Kerrigan, a guy that we all know. When he was in FaZe, he was arguably one of the best in-game leaders. He was setting up his star players around him, and they had a good period of time where FaZe were considered one of the best teams in the world. So he knows how to enable the players around him, and I'm sure Mousesports are super, super happy that they were the ones to get to sign Kerrigan, because he is the building block of this Mousesports lineup. Now, individually performance-wise, he's okay. He's not over the top. He's not under the top. He just does his job to a pretty high standard. Whereas for MSL, it's a complete different type of leader. He likes to have hands-on. He likes to multi teams, and he likes to basically play the game the way he wanted it to be played. So it requires a lot from his teammates in order to join an MSL team, because you're not going to get all the freedom you want. You need to fit into a system, and if you don't, you're out.
We're talking about a guy that was a CORSAIR DreamHack Masters MVP.
Yeah,
has won
and
it.
champion.
Yeah, and champion. Has won it in Stockholm, and now Optic Gaming a little off the radar.
Oh, for sure off the radar. And I think something else to be pointed out, if Kerrigan, the gentleman behind me right here, decided he wanted to be an in-game leader for a Danish team, you may have actually seen MSL be out of a job, or he could be in her pro.
It would have been in North, though, I think, yeah.
MSL to North or Kerrigan to North?
Kerrigan to North, yeah.
Okay, so maybe not out of a job, but maybe a little bit more rivalry within the players that he gets to select. Okay, so here, I'm just trying to think, Jacob.
Yeah?
I don't know where you're lying on this one. How many rounds in total are Optic getting?
Ooh. Or, better yet, are they winning? Let's just go ahead and do your full-on prediction right now.
I think there will be double digits on Nuke. and I think Mousesports is going to win too. I think it's going to be a somewhat competitive team going up against Mousesports. But there's one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and that's the Optic, right? We talked about them being a dead organization in that sense. Yep. These guys are fighting for their lives. These guys are fighting for the next contract. So if a tournament like this is not enough to motivate them 100% to go in here and perform up to the absolute best, then nothing will. Because after this event, they may no longer be at an organization, right? And that's a big problem for them. They need to make money. They need to have a contract. And if they don't perform at tournaments like this, they're going to be out of contracts. Or they will get a less good contract. So I have high hopes and I have high stakes in at least the motivational side for Optic. And that's why I think it's going to be competitive. But Mousesports is by far the better team.
And you know, that was so eloquently put, Jacob. I don't know that there's many people here that would go against the Danish, considering we are in close proximity. Very brave of you, very noble of you. And I want to applaud your efforts. So you've got that of Mousesports. Chad, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Mousesports overall here. There's just a few issues that are cropping up in my mind, right? I think that sometimes Carrigan's pacing on his T-sides can be predictable. It's like when he goes into, like yesterday, we saw him going for that B hit and the double AWP swap of EG, and they weren't really prepared for it. I think like rounds like that, they need to be able to see coming, and MSL's the type of in-game leader who will be able to read that. So the difference makers will be the Ropses, will be the Woxics winning the crazy 1-on-2s or pulling out these multi-kills that they shouldn't. Whereas Optic, I think, maybe one step ahead in terms of pacing on their CT sides. Like they should be stacking bomb sites. I have a good feeling that MSL will be putting his pieces in the right place.
Right. Sorry, you just caught me off guard right
Sorry,
there.
man.
There's a lot going on at one time, and I feel like I'm being put on the spot right now to give my prediction.
That's what the Spotlight, which we haven't actually installed yet, was for. I was here last night. I guess we didn't find the remote.
Yeah, I thought you reran all these wires last night, but it looked like you... Anyway, look, I'm thinking prediction. Is that what you really want?
Yeah, if you can.
It doesn't really like get us into the game any faster. You know why? Because there are network issues, and that happens.
I'm glad that you're being honest, though, Trace, because one of the things, you know, that usually struggles with people in every day is communication, honesty, being forward, being upfront with one another. Really just getting down to the nitty and the gritty. Don't lie. Yeah, and you know, if you're Twitch chat and you lied, now you're going to get called out because we're going to take a look at the results. We asked you to vote. Did you vote? And your vote said Mousesports. You know what? I would have said Mousesports too. Doesn't quite matter.
92% though. I think this is going to be much closer than the majority of these people think.
Yeah, but they're just saying who's going to win.
Yeah, that's true. But still, right, when you have MIBR going up against whoever, they still win the votes every time.
Yeah, that's because they have the lion's share of fans. That's what happens.
How it works.
It used to happen with Na'Vi, but now Na'Vi looks like a team. So
you can actually justify it. Yeah.
So in this time trace, are we going to do our rendition of Baby Shark, or?
We could.
I was showing you guys the wiggles.
We could go to a break, which is what we're going to do instead, because the White Shroot says so. When we come back, we're going to have a best of 3 on our hands. We already have our maps figured out. We have everything that we need figured out. We're also going to have Henry G and the Machine, a new and up-and-coming artist coming straight out of that of the UK. We'll be right back after this break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters. We thank you for your patience. I say we, Machine joined by Henry G.
Hi there.
Hi, little poem to start the day. I'm not really going to be trying to do the rhymes more often than that. I keep accidentally doing them. We're going to keep that at a minimum for now. But the Chibi Weeby on the desk, and we're nearly ready to jump into Optic Gaming versus Mousesports. Big games on the docket today. You'll get to the Astralis versus Vitality as well. Liquid Greyhound is another option for you, and we're going to be seeing a whole lot of Counter-Strike as teams are going to be locking themselves in for that arena. Already guaranteed to see the Ninjas there.
Absolutely, it's always a lot of fun when they're in the arena. This is going to be the Group B lower bracket semi-final. So elimination on the line here. Both these teams been a little bit streaky. We saw Mousesports look much better yesterday, I have to say. They had a rough first game against NIP, where they looked like they were a different team altogether, right?
Yeah, and it was a complete transformation for them against EG. A team, of course, just lifted the trophy fresh off of their victory, and all eyes on them as part of the conversation to be front runners for the trophy lift here in Sweden. But it was Mousesports to take that dream from them. They've got plenty of time now to both celebrate and perhaps remorsefully recount what was DreamHack Masters Malmö. A brief visit for Evil Geniuses, and now it's time to see if Mousesports can complete the set or if Optic Gaming can make good on their promise they made after the best of 1 win versus Liquid. Map 1 is Mirage. It was Mousesports' pick. Let's see if they can justify it as we jump into the pistol.
Well, here we go then. It will be Mousesports with one smoke, couple of flashes, no upgraded pistols, and Rob's waiting for aggression towards middle, and it's a very fast push towards the B bomb site. Testers and Config to be tested here as they wait with the pistols in hand, and still going to be the opening pick from Voxic there, and Nico comes crumbling down. Actually had 3 CTs ready in this bomb site, and they've all been dealt with in due course. Cajun B will pull one back. Rob's watching the rotations, but this looks very, very good for Mousesports now.
It looks fantastic. A very safe plan from Voxic. Frozen's going to get a complete idea idea of where the final player is coming from. It's MSL, should be one. It's not even that. Frozen with low HP finds his third, and it's just the two of them, the stars of the show, Frozen and Woxic. And a correction to my stars of the show comment, I think Chris J's on that list as well. He really impressed me on their performance on Train. The fact that he can just take a round by the horns single-handedly. He does it almost once a game, minimum.
Yeah, when especially in overtime, you remember that first round, the T side, he gets 4 kills of the creep by running outside. That was insane. Either way, it's going to be the full eco here for Optic. Got one flash, so pans towards middle. Looks very likely, to be honest with you. There's only 3 players towards the connector. They'll wait till some mid control has been granted towards the T side. Flash over and try and challenge. And remember, we have seen full eco victories on Mirage with the push towards middle. Can be a very powerful strategy. Molotov towards that connector position. And the Molly will actually shut them down as they try and push through. It's not going to work out for them whatsoever.
Yeah, that was a perfectly timed Molotov. Just watching those health bars just melt. The bottle of flame does bring the pain. Mousesports will secure themselves their second. It's just a question of if KGB can catch Carrigan. Doesn't look like he will. Good precision. That's a good chance for Config to find his first frag of the game. Round 2, not allowed to touch the ground though. Carrigan's Mac 10. He's pocketed himself a nice 1,800 extra bucks to take into the next.
Absolutely true, but the rifles come out now. It's always going to be a difficult buy on the CT side. Mousesports will have quite the advantage in terms of the firepower. They'll have all the grenades they need, and it's unlikely that Optic will have a kit here. They've got themselves 5 smokes, 5 M4A4s, and that's about it, I have to say. No incendiary, so Mousesports with the Mac 10s here, they have got themselves 5 helmets on the CT side, so that will be decent string to their bow going forward. Spray through the smoke from Nico does land reasonable damage towards Frozen. He's down to 78. We saw this a lot throughout the tournament though. Getting Frozen quickly up towards the CPL position, but this time decides to fall back, doesn't want to get in there.
He tends to smoke it himself as well late round. He's so comfortable just walking up. Once he knows he hasn't been threatened from window for a degree of time, he's ready and willing to just take that fight on his own. Carrigan leaping out that window. The flash is good too. Oh my goodness, Config lucky to be alive. He was full blind, has a chance though. Carrigan late to adjust. Chris J will convert and maintain the lead for Mousesports. That's his second kill as they crack into B. Frozen catching MSL on the rotate, and this round is as good as over. Leaves KGB. He's off to save his M4.
Yeah, it's always such a difficult round. As we mentioned, they go towards B. It's a nice approach there. And without the incendiaries to hold them off and segregate the T side, you have to make sure you're landing your shots. But the flashbangs were very effective from the Mousesports side. Yields them a 3rd round on the board. It's looking very good for them going forward here. It's their pick. KGB left with just the M4. Still got his smoke, but no chance of going for this one. He's just going to hold off some exit frags, and they don't really need to hunt at this stage as they recover the rifles. It's going to be 3 of those taken in the next round for Mousesports, and KGB, as the loss bonus racks up, will be at the 4th stage after this round. Not going to be quite enough.
The power of the flashbang displayed in that kill from, or close to kill from Carrigan. The fact that he even gets out of that apartment is baffling to me. There was 2 CTs digging their heels into B, and he is already on B site with a Mac 10. I guess that's credit to his teammates in their flashbang.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why you send the Mac 10 out first, because it doesn't necessarily just stand still to be effective. It can be a run and gun approach, and then as soon as the flashbangs are done, you can actually take the crossfire away from your teammates.
Right.
Make the crosshairs of the CTs positioned to a more awkward position. You see that opening frag jumping out and making things very problematic for the CTs indeed. That was the kill that really won the round for them. Chris J, the second on the Mac 10. Going to have to be Deagles and P250s, but an M4 for KGB. And we'll see where he wants to position himself. It's going to be Config alone towards the A site for now. Nico towards the window, and 3 players towards the B bomb site once again. Voxy with a nice opening pick. That's one of the Deagles removed.
Yeah, that's lovely. Great little read as well over on HLTV.org, reading about Frozen, talking about their loss. They did fall to the Ninjas in Pajamas in a best of 1, and that really thrust them to the lower bracket as soon as possible. Nice hold from KGB, boosted up by his teammate, enables him to make that M4, saved from the round prior. Fill the feed first, keeps things level, 4-4.
Now you would imagine KGB, after getting boosted towards short, he'll transition towards the A bomb site. Goes through the vent, making his way towards jungle, so doing exactly that. But Mousesports seem to be 1 step ahead of it. It's quite a well-read move. It's the most obvious one.
Yeah.
So they're going to head towards a B site, knowing there's a likelihood that he would have rotated there. But he's actually getting towards the vent, and they're actually going to hold strong towards the B site. So there is a chance Cajun can do something about this. I would say this round's a little bit of a knife's edge here, especially if this kill comes in first. MSL's going to find it, and now things become a little bit more problematic as the trades come through. It will be Rops to answer back. Still a play on the bomb site here, and it's up to Cajun B to find multiple frags. Not going to happen. Just gets the 1, and Config, remember, at the A site at the start of the round. Rotating in, might just want to save the AK-47, but fancies at least 1 skill here.
Element of surprise will be foregone as soon as he shows. I think he realizes that's just too tall an order.
How tall could it be, though?
Oh, I mean, it's almost impossible at this point, Hank. It will be a Krieg option for Frozen. He'll take that. And Config's going to keep hold of his AK-47. So 4-0 then, Mousesports preserving the majority of their firepower. The interview from Frozen, though, he was very willing to take the blame, and that was something I wanted to make sure I made a point out of, that for someone so young, and often that comes with a degree of not toxicity, but volatility in both your emotions and your ability to admit your mistakes. But yeah, he's already there, and that's a big step in the right direction, especially under the wing of Carrigan. I think that's a great developmental organization for all of these teams. I say developmental, they've got a shot at the very tippy top once the communication issues that have been outlined by various players are resolved. Very recently, feeling like Mousesports, the individuals themselves in their interviews, stating they think they've kind of starting to suss out communication and the flaws it previously had.
Well then, Optic. It's going to be MSL on the AWP. Looked pretty fantastic yesterday, I have to say, against Na'Vi. Was a disappointing game overall, but he did perform with the AWP, was finding influential picks around the map and looked assertive as a player, I have to say, as they go towards B once again. Bomb down towards the B apartments right now. Overall, though, just probing, feeling out the map. You can see Frozen holding towards middle. Chris J deploying smokes here, and at this stage, Nico just watching for the boost as he does get smoked off.
Lovely little lineup from Chris. Frozen's going to get the deep connector smoke thrown as well, so this is really going to deny a great deal of information. No information from window, and now nothing from connector should they take that line. Look at the freedom that gives Frozen. He's willing to take that fight now. Flashbang from his teammates into CPL. He's going to try and clear that at an accelerated pace, and does so. Now, it looks like it's going to end on A smoke towards jungle. Cajun B is pushed up towards Tetris. MSL now on triple. He has a great opportunity there. Doesn't choose to take it instead. Chris J. Oh, he's missed the shot. Nico's burnt to Carrigan as well. And Cajun B from Tetris has done everything he needed to at this point in time. They can slow it down. 40 seconds. Woxic's locked out by a smoke. And now Frozen makes his presence known.
Oh, big frags come in from the CTs here. MSL yet to strike with the AWP. Missed a few shots, down to 44 points of health. 3 versus 2, the best advantage Optic have had so far. We'll see if they can finish things off here, but Voxic's AWP is potent. Waiting on the Molotov on site. That's going to flush out the AWP here, and he's going to be looking in the correct position, and Carrigan to finish things off. Great teamwork here. Low HP Cajun towards the Palace position with 10 seconds remaining. It should be an Optic round here, but there is every chance to give this one up. Decent HE grenade should do some damage, but not quite. Should be an easy round at this stage. A little bit awkward on the spray, but gets both kills. It's going to be a headshot there to deny the plan, and a nice round from Optic. Cajun B delivering when he had to.
Yeah, not too shabby. Not the most pretty of rounds from Mousesports either. They had a couple of opportunities to crack in a little earlier. Cajun B's double kill really did completely decelerate them. A smoke arriving, separating Woxic from the pack. And that's everything they need. A round on the board, nice and early. Nico, he was a little flush-faced after falling, I imagine, to either jumping out of window or perhaps it was his own Molotov. Either way, he took his own life, one way or the other. Aggressive from Chris J again towards that. The MSL could get caught out by that. Instead, he tucks in. Want to take that fight. That's applicable to both teams. Evades the nade. And again, the fight's given. Woxic, he's happy with that. Gets the first. That's going to cause the CTs to scramble somewhat. If they were to commit here, admittedly, the Molotov's perfect, but there was only one man there. Nico's now rotated off. That's a gap in middle.
Well, they'll take the advantage. The AWP not recovered yet by Tess is holding onto the M4A4. Config trying to get a bit of intel here towards the A ramp. Getting out to the 1 minute mark here. Still with a few smokes, flashes and Molotovs on the T side. Bombs towards the B apartments at this stage as they smoke off towards the connector. Carrigan just trying to dissect the map here and confirm this position is clear. Which indeed it is. B bomb site has been a bit of a stronghold for Optic. Had 3 players there more often than not. Testis alone for now has picked up the AWP at this stage. He will hold on towards the bomb site. Just looking towards that tiny gap. It's going to be a difficult one to find multiple frags from. Fires up a shot and now switches back to the M4.
I like it. It doesn't enable him to find a frag though. Rob's very quick on the trigger. Nico finds another one before falling. Now with the numbers, the bomb goes down again. Familiar territory for Mouse, and that's going to be a tough decision for the CTs. So they really just want to concede again. It doesn't look like that's the case. When you're on the other end of the map, that retake is so tall of an order, Henry.
It's certainly an order, but I'm not sure how tall this one is. We'll see if Cajun B and Config can do anything about it. They do have an HE, a smoke, but is holding over exits by the looks of things. Don't really fancy it. Cajun B with a kill. He's looked very sharp individually this tournament, I have to say. Beyond expectations. We'll see whether he can hold on to the weapon here. Voxic falls off the ladder. Oh, a couple of times there. Just looking to see if he can hold up the AWP. We're absolutely fine there. Wants to play the flashbang.
And it's gone.
And it's definitely gone. Well then, it will be Mousesports 5-1 on their T side, but 2 rifles saved over. Lost bonus not at the strongest point for Optic after winning the previous round. Here's the replay of Robs trading out kills. Nico was the very important one there to yield a bomb plant. I guess going to take Deagles. Careful after Nico. They've got a couple of kits, couple of smokes. Managed to boost Cajun B towards short before. Did get them the first pick, but the round fell apart still. Still 3 players towards the B-bomb side and CT side. We're boosting one up for the first kill. It's going to be Config that actually nails it. And now it might be on for a second.
A little bit of a fluff of his lines and catches Christian on the rotate. Great timing, great maneuvers from Optic Gaming. Puts them in firm grasp of picking up their second. There is still some unarmored pistols though, and to level the odds was Carrigan. Cajun, too damn good. Rops, however, precise in trading, so leaves just the 2 young talents in Rops and Frozen. They have 4 to find, and positioning a little worse for wear. Frozen has absolutely no chance to be traded by Rops at this point in time. It's going to be a solo mission, hoping to catch them off guard. And they will start to regroup. Config will be their first port of call.
Yeah, with the AK in hand, he should be good for at least 1 kill here. It's a decent position. There are flashbangs available though, and they might consider flashing this considering the stage of the round they're in. At least get close to each other so they can trade this one out. Oh, just a face check from Robs. A little bit disappointing considering they lost ground there, but still a 3 versus 1 now up against the M4 and the AWP, which should be able to nail the shot there. It's down to just 5 points of health for MSL. 30 seconds remaining here. Frozen trying to find any point of access and pre-fires towards that window once again. Now got himself a 2-on-1. Oh, that's amazing. What a fantastic shot that was. Actually makes this one possible for himself now with the final player towards shore. Investigates the bomb site, goes for the safe plant.
And it's safe from shore, which is what matters in this case. Already got 3 in this round. MSL caught Nico trying to recover the AWP and take the shot instead. Loses his life. Frozen, it's perfect from Frozen. 4 in the round, a 1 versus 3.
Wound and wound we go.
And wound we go with Jonathan Wass.
6-1, that's fantastic. That was a 4 versus 2. It looked like they threw it away after not flashing towards the B apartment's position, but Frozen and its pre-fires towards window. That shot on Nico, that wins the round for them. Great awareness and another fantastic shot to close things out. And that's going to be gutting to Optic. They had such a massive lead there. That was starting off as a 5 versus 3, then a 4-on-2, and it still falls apart for them.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. Those are the rounds that can continue to haunt you into the next. We'll see if that's going to throw any of the Optic players off. For now, Smoke arrives on ramp. That was Frozen's 10th on the final Tessis. He does nothing. Agent B does, though. The trade comes in, costs Rops a great deal of his health on the advance towards A. MSL, however, with the AWP, sets himself up in somewhat of a crossfire alongside Nico. Flash will catch him only briefly, and he should still have a chance for that cross. It's a very tight line, hard shot to hit. Carrigan willing to suppress, and the bullets are enough to pull him back. Utility very minimal now. They've only got flashbangs. There's no smoke to enable them to get that bomb down now other than the one on jungle. Plant makes sense. He's exposed. Woxic can save him though. And now the after plant. Rob's still low from the early damage on Cajun.
What an insane plan that was. MSL doesn't look like he's really clicking today, the AWP. That was a bit of a sitter and a very influential kill. It's going to be an advantage once again towards the Mousesports squad. Carrigan, though, taken down by Config. Low HP on towards Rops, but they have got Voxic alive and kicking. Kits available, smoke as well. They need to get that down on the bomb ASAP. There it is. Flashbang coming through as well. They can throw the incendiary towards the bomb site. Could have been better off towards the ramp. They touch the bomb, and now at this stage, it's going to be a 2 versus 1. Make it 0. The G-Fuse will be there, and yes, it's absolutely in time. So it's going to be Optic with their second. A little bit dicey there towards the end, but well held. Decent usage of utility to eradicate risks and ensure the full defuse could come in.
Yeah, that smoke doesn't land on the bomb. It's a very different story, but they had one in their back pocket, and that's why the choice of when to throw your smoke holds so much weight in your success of the round. Config, great frags from him. He killed Carrigan as well prior. Into round 9 we go. We'll see some sacrifices made by Mousesports, and it looks like they're actually going to go for somewhat of a quick one. You can see the smokes are already in the air. They've thrown them all the way from T-side mid. landing exactly there. You can see the wall of smokes locks them out. Tess is pressured and flash. It's perfect from Chris J. Mousesports. This looks great, but Config, he's looking to rip it away from them. A double kill. Molotov, that's the second. Puts Nico in prime position to catch what remains of Mousesports B take. The bomb is loose. Using the smokes that they threw. Nice. Jiggle peek from Woxic enables him to cross towards the bench. He finds the angle onto Nico. MSL, he has had a couple of chances.
Yeah,
That's one. Converts it. Rob's gone, puts Woxic in the 1 versus 2. They can't afford to lose another clutch, and MSL could ensure it with his shot. Not holding the line effectively, though, enables Woxic to go for a crawl. I think MSL's ready for it. Misses the shot, though. One more bullet will do it! And now Woxic in the 1v1. Not another one, surely. He gets his signature weapon, the AWP. Decides against it, realizing that could be close quarters. It's Cajun. He has been the shining light for success for Optic Gaming, and I think this could be another case of it. Cajun holding the perfect line. Won't let that bomb retrieval go with unpunished.
Oof. Well, that should be the money broken at this point for Mousesports. They're forced by the MAC-10s, making their way through, managing to trade out a decent amount of kills, but Config burning them all to a crisp there. Woxic certainly had the chance to win out on that one once he got the kill on towards MSL as well. If he has the bomb, he probably wins it as he could hightail towards the A site, but Cajun B positions perfectly towards the bench, wins out the round and forces them to pretty much full eco here. PD50s at the top end, one flashbang. Going to try their luck towards B by looks things once again.
Seem to have found a site they like. Often seen as the backup plan for most strategies.
Yeah, considering they've done damage on this side of the map financially, there's a good chance they won't have everything they need. You can see an MP9 there as well, but actually probably the perfect weapon for the job, all things considered.
Yeah, that's true. No armor to be seen. The flashbangs have been good, and they only have one. Let's see if Chris Jays can do the necessary dirty work. Tessus unflashed, undaunted, will fall back for a moment, but ready to reaggress, and now on the site. Supported by Config, it's lined up. And he's looking to knock him down. Frozen, however, gets the MP9. It won't work, and they won't get the bomb down. Had he got that frag, a different story, and a chance for Rops to force the rebuy from MSL, but down to 19. It's not enough. Will be the 4th then for Optic Gaming, and it feels like, I think that's 3 in a row, yep. 3 rounds in a row for the Danes, as it will be the time for the rebuy. Mousesports back into aggressive territory with their weaponry.
Starting to come online now, Optic need to start finding momentum, build up a nice reservoir of cash, but for now, 5 rifles indeed. Molotov towards the connector, more of a default round here, smoke towards the short position, taking vision away. All for MSL, has looked pretty weak today. Just 1 key frag found with it, he's going to go towards that A ramp. Baiting in Cajun B. Classic setup.
This is a classic position for Rops. We saw him get caught out actually with some aggressive pushes. Last time we watched Mousesports Mirage, people were flashing over, and with their understanding of how he sets himself up on the default, you can exploit it. He's off early though. And that aggressive push from the CTs, if they don't go any further, will not necessarily bear fruit. The call from his teammates, however, might cause the rotate to come in from Nico. For now, it's just Tessus and Config. They passed the test in the round prior, and this time, it seems no different. Great work from Config, still fragging. And oh, he's caught with a nade, wasn't ready for Frozen. Should see the trade from Tessus, though, and leaves Chris and Carrigan dire straits. No real chances. Carrigan only going to get the 1, puts Chris J in a brutal hurt locker on B.
Yeah, really nice moves from Tessus there, just buying time, making sure he stays alive, just being a nuisance. Good angle from MSL. Yields yet another round towards that B bomb site. Mousesports trying to force the issue on that side of the map. Hasn't worked out for a few rounds now. Opening pick found consistently from Optic. B split from short, they got decent mid control, but Config very ready for it. And it's going to be 6-5. Another eco on the docket for the international squad. Deagles, a couple of sets of Kevlar, 1 smoke, that's about it, as their struggles continue here.
Not easy, but Cajun B nearly gave them a freebie. Crossing to Sandwich, hoping that Molotov would have obscured his cross had there been a weapon to threaten. It was just the Deagle, but a precise headshot would have been enough. Nico, body shots from him, and Carrigan returns the favor. Puts us at 4. Could retrieve the rifle, though, and they do. If they can get that on the hands of Rops, it's their best shot, but for now, Rops finds himself on the other side of the map. He will be in Palace, hoping to catch, perhaps finish off the damage he did to Cajun B to start things off from ramp.
Still have a smoke. They've recovered the incendiary as well from the CT corpse towards the underpass position. Goes to a minute now. Got to finish up towards A if possible. Giving the M4 to Robs, as you mentioned. He's got the armor. Makes the most sense that he has the rifle in hand. No helmet, but got a much bigger chance than his unarmored friends here, and he's one of the key fraggers on this map. Usually working towards a palace position. We'll see whether the Deagle this time can open things up. As we get to the 40-second mark, they have to finish up soon. Frozen coming in from the connector, but Config surely will swat him.
It's very likely, but Rops makes that rifle work. Carrigan feeling like that's paid off. His retrieval, he gets shut down, as does everyone. Cajun B, for so long, does get eliminated by Frozen, so this round's not necessarily over. Config will shut me right up and shut that round down. 6-6. Unarmored friends. Technically, I guess most of my friends are unarmored.
Yeah, indeed.
I guess in Counter-Strike it's a little different. Let's see that again from Cajun B. This double kill. That was the chance from Rops, but a precise headshot. Especially, let's not forget, no helmet available. Had he had it, he'd have had a second bite of the cherry with his rifle.
Wow, Config, 15 kills, Cajun B on 12, both looking very good here. Jacob did say those are the keys to success here on this map. See if Cajun B being flashed over. We'll get in the first once again. He gets the damage done towards Rops, takes him down to 12, but essentially a 5 versus 4. Mousesports get the advantage for the first time in a while, throwing all their smokes towards jungle, steps, CT spawn. Flashes will come over momentarily, going for the A split here as two players make their way towards connector. We'll see MSL playing in front of the smokes here, watching towards the A ramp as Config. He's actually pushed up middle, going for the backstab here, and he's undetected so far.
Config has been so influential. A smoke from Christian, that's the last one Mousesports have, and it's going to be easy for MSL to track him on the exit. Just grey screen for Chris, and with no more utility to throw, at least not smokes, got the Molotovs, they won't really be able to obscure vision, and now that flank we check in again. Config, he's going to catch Mousesports out, and this is what we were talking about. This is what Chad was talking about. This could be a double kill. Woxic's only going to get one before the massacre takes place. Bomb lose, round essentially over, especially now MSL's caught Frozen, and Config finding 3. It's just the two of them. MSL and Config with the ace.
Yeah, really nice stuff then from Config. Couldn't have timed that any better if he tried. Just as they're trying to commit towards the A side, he sprays 2 of them down, drops the bomb. His teammate can swing out, and they line up for him as well. No chance. He ruined the chances there whatsoever. Yeah. It's going to be a final kill from Config there as well towards Rops in the Palace position. Lost bonus getting them so far on the Mousesports side. Haven't had a plant for a while, to be honest, but they do get 2 rifles, the AWP. 3 rifles, beg your pardon, and 1 Deagle. Nico trying his luck towards the top of middle. Voxic burns for a crisp, but completely destroys Tetris on the other side. It looks like he wants a little bit more out of this.
At what cost? They push through the flames. They want to commit to this after the first pick. I say that, they start to back away. They're burning. MSL, this is a little too much. Highly aggressive through underpass. Costs him his life. Nico and Cajun B, by filling the feed, they know exactly where they are. They can build a picture and perhaps going to turn tail back towards B. It does look like that's the case. Mousesports, they've pieced it together. The loss of their teammates, Carrigan and Rops, enables them to completely solve this mystery for now. Bomb can go down thanks to Frozen.
Bomb has been planted.
Looks like responsible for short. Cajun from kitchen.
Yeah, pretty easy stuff there for Voxic, and Cajun B been fragging hard so far, but this one looks a little bit out of reach. Time ticking away, 3 kills to find and a bomb to defuse here. He's got a flash and HE, first kill will come through. He has got a chance in this one with the kit. They'll take some mistakes here from Mousesports, but Voxic's not making any. Lovely stuff, going to tie things up at 7-7 on a very difficult buy for themselves.
It seems like Optic Gaming have the advantage in a rather big way with flanks and with good reads. As soon as Mousesports go slow, the quick rounds is where they found most of their success early. I think, you know, what was it, 5, 6 they got off the bat? Yeah, 4 and then 2. So essentially they got 6 of the first 7 rounds of play, and a lot of those were fast, even the pistol. As soon as things slow down to that default, MSL does seem to get the good read with some easy to attain information. This time he's got more than information, he's got bloodshed. Rops forced to watch as the final round of the first half of our first map of our 3rd day here at DreamHack Masters. Leaves just 4. Tagged up Nico. Oof, gosh. Just saving himself with his positioning. And MSL takes one into the leg on the jump across. He can catch Woxic, and another from MSL. Yeah. Delivering once again here in Malmö.
Yeah, starting to come online for sure. Had a rough start into this map, and now starting to hit most of his shots. 2 versus 2, they know where he is. He's been legged as well, so he's down to 17 points so far, so the bomb will be planted. Flashbang to come through the window. Now we'll head towards shore, allow his teammates to swing round here. KGB applying so much pressure. Precise aim as well. 1 versus 1. Carrigan with the advantage considering the low HP. Does he walk into the crosshair? He absolutely does. And it will be 8-7, a close game. Frankie, tell us what's going on down there.
Well, I've never heard 10 players talking so fast at the same time, because often, obviously, it's maybe a couple of players talking, the others following, but actually in this last round, it was a real team effort. And then, of course, we had our in-game leaders head-to-head. MSL finally managing to hit his shots when it mattered most. But, of course, we've got the old switcheroo coming up, so don't switch off, because we're going to be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. It's time for some Counter-Strike. We're live from CORSAIR DreamHack Masters. We're live in Sweden, Malmö, Skåne. It's close to Denmark, just a stone throw away from Copenhagen, and that's where Optic Gaming have hailed from. Now, ready to do damage in the server. It's their T side. MSL versus Carrigan, two storied Danish in-game leaders, and now just across the pond they duke it out for survival. I'm Machine, he's Henry G, and smokes and flashes towards B.
Here we go then, Carrigan with the flashbang from his teammates. He'll be opening things up here. It's looking very good for the Mousesports side. Nothing found for Optic so far, as the kills are just relentless on the CT side. No bomb to be planted, not a frag to be found, no damage inflicted, Alex. That is a perfect hold from Mousesports there. They're going to tie things up at 8-8. That's both pistols under their belt at this stage.
T-side, it did seem like you had a couple of questions and quandaries regarding some of Mousesports' choices, but individual firepower was never lacking, and you can see prime example of that here in the pistol. It was Chris J with 3, finds those multi-frags more often than not. This time, however, that was a big leap up in his frag count. Now, he only had 5 coming into that one. Excuse me, that was a triple kill. Maths is hard. 4, but still into the 4 spy for round 2. Optic Gaming, no bomb plant, not a single frag, but still choosing to invest.
Well, it's going to be Carrigan to deploy the flashbang, bouncing off the bomb site there. It's the first kill for Config. Danish players and Desert Eagles, something about that. And we'll see them actually have full control of the B side now. Bomb's going to go down for sure. They've recovered the M4A1S in the hands of Nico for now. This force by looking very good. You'd normally expect the AKs on the third, but they don't need those rifles. Their pistols are absolutely fine. They've actually got the advantage here with the damage inflicted. Might even consider saving at this point. We'll see whether Mousesports have anything to say about this.
If they have a go, they're at risk of falling. More rifles in the hands of Optic. Great shots from MSL, but I think they are going to call it. It's too scary. Too many close corners for, well, I mean, look at the prime example of the POV of Nico you just saw there. He was tucked in on the corner. You just can't check all of them. Risk of exposing yourself. It will just be the MP9 to be retrieved. They maintain the rifles. Config, however, will go down, and this could work out nicely for Optic as he catches another on the way out. So just an M4 and a P250, but the most important is a round on the board. Optic Gaming take 9 and bite straight back with a Mousesports ilk B hit.
Well, it's Carrigan that holds towards that B side. Historically has been focused towards that area at times, and it's a very difficult side. If you get flashed and you're having to fall back and scramble, that first pick can be absolutely everything. It bought enough time for them to get the bomb planted, recover the M4, and they will force back in due course. We're going to see the saved weapons come through, MP9s and a FAMAS. Boxy trying to block the smoke to the best visibility. Difficult to make that effective these days.
Needs to hit the gym a bit more. Toughen up those pecs.
Yeah, indeed.
For now, no bloodshed, but mid-smokes do land. Top mid and the window. Only sightline available to the CTs would be connector, and that would be the responsibility of Config to clear. For now, tucked into underpass. Now this could be interesting. They're going to slow things right down. 70 seconds still on the clock, and they are, with the bomb in middle, very, very flexible. If Nico was to find frags, they can accelerate, but with Frozen's positioning, he's able to just dip between the two, support where necessary. Nico's going to get caught. Nice work from Carrigan, even though the advantage was firmly in favor of Nico. Now Cajun being Carrigan, excuse me, Config pushing in. Config finds his 20th, but it costs him a great deal of his health.
Yeah, maybe overextending a little bit there. They had a 5-on-2 situation. They've given 1 kill up, but that's fine. Frozen's already done most of the heavy lifting here with 2 frags to his name. Config now down to 0, and Cajun B has to drop down. 30 seconds remaining. Bomb in no man's land, and Chris J in a perfect position to strike. And it will be Mousesports tying things up, responding to that difficult second round, but money is in the bin for Optic at this stage. They would have to force buy again at this point. If you take a full eco, you're still not going to have a strong buy going forward. They're going to have $1,900 going forward, so we're going to have Config purchasing what he can. He gets the AK and Kevlar. The rest of them will join him. As I mentioned, they pretty much have to at this stage. They might as well go for it. We'd have a Desert Eagle for MSL. smoke and flashes as well, and an A execution on the cards here. Just going to try and get that bomb down and see where it leads them.
Yeah, one more smoke, and that's going to start flying out of the hands of MSL right here, right now. Rops to receive. Let's not forget, Config has the rifle, and it's found him a way in. It's exactly what he needed to do, exactly what it says on the tin. It's now starting to push in. Great work from Frozen, he stopped them in their tracks. It's a third. And Optic and Frozen fill the feed in a matter of seconds to convert.
It looks so good for Optic then with the opening pick. You thought a bomb plant was almost a certainty with the smokes down as well, but Frozen, he'll use the smokes to his advantage. Actually got the third cleanly through the smoke there, connects with the headshot. And that's round shut down. No plant, has to be the full eco now.
And so we break from the forced buy culture, and for now, respectful P250 for Config.
Yeah, things will calm down at this point. Just Glocks, one P250, no armor, no flashes, and a decent grenade to kick things off. KGB down to 67. Smoke to follow things up. Mousesports are going to keep a clean sheet here if possible. Should be absolutely fine to do so. Well, it's a very quick one, 11 to 9.
Yeah, it feels reminiscent of the round prior. Mousesports, that's two very quick rounds, and they'll be thinking fondly of those when the rounds continue to get a little bit more tumultuous, as now the buy comes in from Optic Gaming. They won that second round force buy, but it's the only round they have to show for it now. Is their chance for their second on the T side. Let's see what the call is from MSL. Tess is the new addition, yet to really make too much of an impact, at least in a very big way. Not going to successfully block it, but Woxic was hoping to find a gap to exploit.
Oh, it's got something. Difficult to work with, limited vision.
Very deep CT setup from Mousesports. Look at Robs' position. He's all the way up in Palace. It won't necessarily pay dividends this round, but something Mousesports have chosen to pull out when it's all quiet on A. A second smoke into middle. What's Woxic's response? He knows the crawl's going to be coming in. How do you hold them at bay? It looks like he might even have to support with Frozen. They do throw some bullets towards Connector, and look at this patience from Rops. He's going to be able to catch Cajun here. He's worked it out, and there's the gun. That's the kill. An upgrade for him. Frozen doesn't have to take that fight necessarily. Instead, opts for his utility. A Molotov towards stairs. They all stack up. They might even, speaking of stack, try and get that boost on the bin. Instead, pushing forward. Aggressive stance from the CTs. The bomb will be threatened to go down.
Rops has actually pushed the Palace as well. He's coming towards that A-ramp position, looking to shut down the plant if possible. He's going to spot one there. Should be a guaranteed frag, but it's MSL actually pulls one back. Now they know exactly where Robs is. They might hightail it towards the B-bomb side through the vent. I think they are.
That would be a very strange run. Catches the bomb. Chris J filling the gap nicely. Two quick frags. The third from Chris J. Nico, just the tip of his head showing, and Woxic does the rest. Mousesports, they turn that on its head. It looked like Optic Gaming had done enough to survive and then draw their fire, but Chris J with a double kill on the way out.
Yeah, it was a nice call, actually, the fact they were going towards B. If they get through towards the vent successfully, it's a matter of milliseconds as to whether they make it or not. Chris J, though, gets the most important kill, takes down that bomb, makes things very problematic. That was just remarkable.
Satisfying. Nothing more satisfying than an AK one-tap. Perhaps the Deagle, a close contestant. Or the USP, actually. There's a lot of good one-tap satisfying weapons in the world.
Yeah, there is. Well, partial buy here. CZs, P250, one Deagle. Limited resources here as the Molotov is dropped. Flashbangs to go over the top. Chris J looking in prime position to shut this one down, but the flashbangs have been very effective so far. Carragher's going to go down, exposes himself there.
He wasn't ready for the bench positioning. Great positioning from Nico. And hang on a second, Chris J is being pushed. Dropped in support, and another one. This time Optic Gaming, they have to find another frag onto Chris J. He's still vigilant on this defense, and MSL's done it. With very little, they've made a lot out of this round. It leaves MSL tagged up by the P250. Woxic opting for the big green now. Holds the line, misses the shot, Frozen in support. And will not make the same mistake twice. Two frags for Woxic and a 13th for Mousesports. This was their map pick. It's worth reminding you this is an elimination series, but it is a best of 3. Mousesports map pick, Nuke up next.
Oh, that's a good point. Nuke is always going to be interesting. When we saw Optic yesterday play the map against Na'Vi, it looked like they had the lead, actually. They got 8 rounds on their T side, and somehow it all fell apart. The individual skill of Na'Vi and general teamwork was just overwhelming towards the end.
Yeah, the CT side, it was baffling. Looks like similar scenes for MSL as he puts face to palm.
Yeah, it's not been the most successful tournament. They opened things up in a great manner. Was it Team Liquid they took
Team
down?
Liquid, 16-9 as well.
What a remarkable result, but unless you get through to the playoffs, it doesn't mean much.
It's on Overpass. We haven't seen too much Overpass from Optic Gaming since, certainly not versus Na'Vi. I think it would have been a third at that point, but it was a Mousesports ban that stopped them from taking it there in this series. This could be smooth moves from Chris, looking to support and perhaps even go aggressive on this one. Perhaps a flash even from his teammates. They are ready for it. Weapons out, Optic in support and suppressing fire. Now Chris J can swing, finishes what Frozen started. Can he get away though? There's so many players in middle. Oh, they're gonna wreck them. What was that from Config? With a swipe of his mouse, Woxic and Frozen are down and out. Another Carrigan falls, and Config has put this team on his back in order to secure the second round here on the T side.
Yeah, this always was his best map when he was in his absolute peak form. That's a sick round from Config, showing that individual skill we know he's always capable of. We don't see it too often, but more recently it's starting to shine through. Excellent individual sequence there. Takes matters into his own hands. A flashbang from Nico here sets him up for two. Nuts. Very clean kills. Third was beautiful as well. Look at the skill coming through here. It's really fun to watch when he gets going. That's a key round. Only the second Optic have picked up in the second half here. That's a good one. Double digits, 13-10. Money's still there for Mousesports, as we'll see Woxic battle towards the window once again. This time unable to touch the smoke. Might be a slight gap there. Thinks better of it. Big round here. Money starting to fall out of the accounts of Mousesports. Still have Frozen on 7,500.
Let's try it again. Not going to be the mid stance from Mousesports this time though. Once bitten, twice shy. Good damage. Tessus and MSL brought down to 60. Didn't quite catch that, but Woxic, I think he was holding the line. The aggressive push from Config has been neutralized.
Yeah, that's the danger man removed.
Yeah, 25 frags. Definitely is his dojo, Mirage.
Yeah. Just thinking back on his biggest performances, always Mirage, where he starts just running around like an absolute madman.
Yeah, he has that freedom, I guess, on a map like this. You start running around like a madman on Overpass, you're going to be hit with a do not peek bat.
Well, at this stage, they'll make their way back towards the A site. Occasion B already in towards the Palace. Still has a Molotov for the shadow position if required. Robs gets close towards the A round. Time ticking away here. 40 seconds on the clock. 5 versus 4. Tessus and MSL swallowed an HE at the very start, both down to 60.
Must have been holding hands. Nades will fly out, and so Robs looking to respond. He doesn't even get one, doesn't even pull the trigger. Down to Chris J then, and he will be threatened from Apps as well. Cajun B will be coming from there. Frozen evades the flashes. They're yet to cross, and Chris catches Cajun. A second chance as he catches MSL. And this round has just been ripped from Optic Gaming. It looked good. Managing to catch Rops early, left Chris just on the site. Cajun, had he caught him, would have really been able to focus their attention on the rotating CTs, but the Dutchman holds vigilant again. CT side, he always manages to take one away from you.
Well, after keeping 4 players alive on their successful round previous, they will have a decent amount of cash to buy for the next round, still with the MSL AWP. It's Nico who's been non-existent here. One of the big names of the squad, 7 and 22. Like he was heralded as one of the most promising talents within all of Denmark, and that's the body block of the smoke. When it does work out, it does give you a lovely gap like this, and you can see him trying to use it to his full advantage. I think Optic might be aware of it at this stage as the flashbangs will be exchanged towards middle. Actually a very powerful one towards Woxic, and will actually lead to his death.
Victim of his own success, blocking the smoke, gives Config a chance to peek in. Combined with the flash, it works wonderfully, and now preparation for the smoke, they Molotov it. Wow, that's twice in this round they've managed to stop that window smoke from a full success. Preemptive play from Mousesports has brought them here. And Rops, he's going to get a second chance, a chance at redemption. He was eliminated so quickly on his last aggressive stance ramp. This time, Nico, MSL both pushing in. He'll have the shadow advantage, and it's going to be one, just the one. MSL to trade, keeps the numbers in favor of Optic, but Chris J still digging his heels into the site. Do they have a Molotov? They do. Plenty of them. He's going to get a bit hot, but finding an angle nonetheless, and he can still keep them suppressed. Config, however, doing all the damage that needed to be 2. Chris J, he was threatened by Carrigan, keeping him safe for now, actually taking Cajun B out. Some in a 1v1. Config, and Carrigan saves it for Mousesports. 3 in the round. Same thing can be said about him that it said about Chris J. He will save the day, especially when the pressure gets mounting, when we're heading towards overtime, when you're heading towards match point. Carrigan trying to keep his teammates safe, and he did for the most part.
Wow, that's a great play from Carrigan. Really intellectual clutch towards the end as well. The 1 versus 1 sees the trajectory of that grenade, swings round, completely eviscerates his opponents, and it will be 15-10 map point for the international squad on their pick. It will be a tactical timeout as Mirage will chime in. You're allowed to speak towards the freeze time in every round as a coach, but when things get a little bit desperate, you will see them come in with a full 30 seconds here. A double AWP setup, Chris J and Vox to try and close things out. Occasion B, great game from him individually, but now looking down the barrel of a first map defeat. They need 5 rounds in a row just to take us to overtime and to get over the first hurdle. They've got 2 Galils in hand, Tessus and MSL. Nico with the Krieg, who's been non-existent so far on Mirage here.
It is quite the contrast. I mean, Config, he's got the same amount of frags of Nico in 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just, it's polarizing, that's for sure. 27 now. And now staring down the barrel of potentially the final round of play. Chris J does have his AWP, the secondary. It's going to get really awkward for him very quickly. He might be able to escape and use that smoke to his advantage, but they already have the site. Looking for the plant is Testis, but caught by Frozen. Boosting Chris J up. I love the setup. Optic, what is that? Eliminating Config of all players. Now the boost pays off. Chris J stopping the plant. The round is over. The game continues. We will see Optic lose Mousesports map pick, and it puts us in an interesting place heading into Nuke, but it's going to be a tough one.
It absolutely is. That's a real dominant performance, a great team effort from Mousesports there. Optic was still very competitive, but they need to have all 5 players to come online to stand a chance against a skilled roster like Mousesports. It was their map pick, but Mirage is pretty neutral territory. You can't say it was a bogey pick or anything like that. Nuke will have to come in favor of Optic. They really need to come online at this stage. We saw them drop their CT side yesterday. Yeah. They can't afford that today. They need all 5 players there. We'll see what the analysts think.
So much to discuss, so much to talk about. One thing that you can't dismiss is the fact that Config showed up in a huge way. However, not big enough of a way for Optic, as they do take an L here in the first map of the series.
Yep.
To the Mousesports.
Well,
a back and forth one.
I just want to point out that a few of the things Jacob and I said for once were right. It's unusual, yes, I know, but we were right on a couple of things. Config being the only individual who can put up those massive numbers and really compete with the individuals on Mousesports. Sure. That was the case. You saw that on several occasions. Even in that first half, he had that saved AK. He gets like 3 kills and they still lose a 1v4 to Frozen. It's like, how much does the man have to do? But then the other points we're talking about here is you can see the calling and the strategies that Optic have. That's how they can keep it competitive. They're doing B executes. You know, they're rotating quite well. When the B executes, that pacing that I spoke about from Carrigan on his T sides comes in, Config knows where to drop his molly. Tessus knows where to stand because he knows where they're going to jump out the window first. They're not going to clear van first. Config takes the aggro. He gets some kills. The rotation's already there. So the game panned out pretty much as we expected. Scoreline feels as we expected. Par for the course on this one.
So far. Now, that was just the first map of the series. Obviously, Mousesports' pick. We went to Mirage. They pick up the W there, and we'll switch over to Nuke. Something to talk about there with Optic Gaming. Is it their pick? They've got to be feeling a little bit more confident, right?
We got to see more of the same, I feel, right? The rotations will be there. The team play will be there. Yeah. I think that's how they're going to make it competitive. As we did say, you know, it was the individual difference between the players. Frozen having a great game. Voxic dropping almost 30 frags, I believe. When you have 2 players showing up in that way, and also Carrigan being, you know, very assertive with the way he was running around on the map and also very fast rotating. If they can do that and replicate that on Nuke, then sure thing, I think it's going to be a competitive game, but it will most likely be Optic falling short.
Yes, and we're going to find out in the next map, but looking at the scoreboard, this is pretty wild considering Tessus and Nico only on 8 frags, 27 for Config. That means that he was doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Lion's share, right? And that's unfortunate. And also, if you note, like, there was a couple of times the Observer was on MSL as he had a couple of gimmies with the AWP. He was missing some easier shots there. If he was able to land a few of those, if Tessus and Nico were able to get a few more kills to their name, who knows? This game could have been, you know, much, much closer.
And one thing I do want to point out, the difference between having Voxic as an AWP player, you could see he had 6 entry frags. He's trying to open up the map, whereas for MSL, being the AWP player, he's way more laid back. He's playing it defensively. He had 0 entry kills. So he doesn't really do a lot of the job in that sense, right? He's more like the closer for the team, and there's just a big difference in terms of skill when it comes down to the AWP on the Mousesports side and the AWP on the Optic side.
Jacob, you ready for me to break your heart?
Yeah.
One final time.
Oh, I love this. I'm so ready for this.
Now, I would say something along the lines of look me right in my eyes, like right here, and I would probably pick up this. But in this note, I'm going to pick up Jacob's notes, and I'm going to say this because it would appear as though Liquid have lost to Greyhound in a rather convincing fashion.
There's 3 letters there.
Yeah, there's 3 letters. I don't know if anybody could see that, but it's W, T, and F. And if you put those together...
That's an acronym for those of you playing at home.
By question mark.
Why the question mark? Because does that make sense? Liquid losing to Greyhound?
Trace, what was the T-sided score for Greyhound? How many rounds did they win?
Several. You know, if I really have to go through the numbers
let's pose it
here.
this way. How many did Liquid win on their CT side of Mirage?
Yeah, that was pretty abysmal. If you look at it, if you look at the spread, it does not make any sense whatsoever.
Not at all.
We're talking about a pistol round for Greyhound and a dominant first half for Liquid, and then you run it all the way back if you're Greyhound. Hats off to him, man.
The clutches. We could hear Vince from here, mate. He's in the UK somewhere, but I'm pretty sure we could feel him out here because the clutches that these guys for Greyhound were winning were absolutely insane. You had Sicko winning a 1v3. You had Dexter win a 2v4 scenario that he closed on out there. Malta won a 1v1 in the end there. The Greyhound guys, I was kind of keeping my attention on the secondary monitor. I don't know how they've done it.
I just want to put it on the table. Are we done using the excuse jet lag now? Is this just Liquid not playing up to their potential? Or is it still, you know, the jet lag? Is it still that we're tired, we came off New York, yada, yada, yada?
No one has said anything about jet lag today.
I'm just saying.
I want to make that very transparent.
Yeah.
Liquid have taken an L on their first map. They're not out, but they are already in the pretty rough spot.
Well, was this that would have been the pick right there of the... No, wait, they started on the CT side. So was that Liquid's pick?
It would appear so.
Yeah.
Chad, yes. Liquid picked Mirage, Greyhound picked Nuke, which is where they're going next, and where we're going next too, because after the break, we're going to have a second map of this series, and it's going to be that of Optic and Mousesports going head-to-head. Mousesports pick up the first map as expected, but can they do it on the second one of Nuke? That'll be the big question, and only time will tell. So we hope you're here with us when we come back at the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters.